Hi, I would like to talk about some issues that God's been teaching me in the last few weeks or other months, and I'm sure I will do a lot of other videos on that topic because there's such an intense uh, teaching that God is doing in my life right now. But it's just a start, and so there's so much more to come in terms of revelation on this area. But I would like to share what God has been teaching me in this very first few um, weeks of this season of my life. God's been tearing down the division between what is his presence and what is not his presence. What are the things that in which he's present, and what are the things that he can be present in, and what are the good stuff and what are the bad stuff, and what are the what are the things that God can be involved in, and what are the things that exclude God. Just God just destroys it right now in my life. For a long time, I really tried to create a life that is absolutely separated to God, like spending as much time with Jesus as possible. And now God is teaching me that, okay, I love that you spend 2 or 3 hours waiting on me. I love that you give up doing everything for a week just to seek me. I love all this stuff. But let me tell you, it is a deception to think that I'm less present in something than in another thing. Like, I am ever present. I'm constant. I'm involved in everything. I am part of everything. As Paul said, in him we live, we move, and have our being. Like, we cannot move outside of him. And when we think that there are things that where God cannot be experienced, we exclude ourselves from an experience of him. And sometimes there are stupid videos jumping up on YouTube, and I really feel like, canceling them. And Jesus just tells me that, why are you canceling it? Why do you think I am not present in it? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's not that like encouraging and not that spiritual, and there's full of sin in this video clip or something. And Jesus tells me that no, that's not the way I think. The ground where you put your food is yours. You are standing on a holy ground. The kingdom of God is at hand. So you can experience me wherever you want to experience me. There is a reality called the new creation. And Jesus told me that it's not just about you being the new creation. It's about the whole new creation that is surrounding you. Remember what Paul said? He told me, I've been crucified to the world, and the world has been crucified to me. Like, I have a whole nother world where I live. It's not just about me being different. It's the world I live in is different. And he reminded me of David. Like, you remember what David said? That the trees are clapping and the mountains are shouting with joy. Like, what a nonsense it is. It's another world, and you can become aware of it. And if you don't choose to refuse seeing me in something, you find out soon that I don't refuse to meet you anywhere. Every second, in every place, and every situation is an opportunity to encounter Jesus, to look into his face. And if we think it's not holy enough, or it's distraction, or it's of the devil or something, we miss looking into his face, because he is present everywhere. I dare to say that in everything is a revelation of him. And what about sin? Yeah, the very twisted things speak even louder of who he is, because he's not like that. So everything is a revelation of him. And if we dare to see it, we will be crazy, crazy drunk all the time. Like, and we cannot get his presence or make his presence or stir it up or whatever. We can't do anything with the presence. We can, in him we live, move, and have our being. Like, we can only resist his presence. We can only deny it. Just with simple lies in our heads, like, it's too dirty, he won't be in this film. Oh, this love song is too erotic. Jesus doesn't like this stuff. What if he likes all these stuffs? And what if he wants to show up in everything you touch? And we are afraid of being like touched by those things and get infected and get under its negative influence. But we are a new creation, and we live in a whole other world. And if we believe it can affect us, it will. But if we believe, we are more infectious. Holiness is more infectious. That's the new covenant. Holiness is more infectious than impurity. That's what Jesus came to declare. Jesus went and touched lepers, and it was not an issue that Jesus would catch the disease or something. It was obvious the lepers would get healed. And why don't we believe the same about ourselves? Like, as he was, so are we in this world. Why don't we believe the same? Why are we so willing to give up whole areas of arts and society to the works of the enemy just by thinking that, oh, they are not too holy for God to dwell in them? He came to this dirty world. He loves dirty stuff. He loves dwelling in darkness and being the light there. I mean, we are deceived to think that something is a distraction from him. Everything is a revelation of him if we dare to see him in it. In the last few days, I was like really studying the life of a great artist, and he was messed up. And I was like, God, why am I studying him that much? Like, isn't it a distraction from your presence right now? And Jesus was so strict. He told me, it's a deception to think that. You exclude yourself from my presence while watching these things just by the thought that you think that I'm less present in in these videos and documentaries than anything else. There is no distraction. There is only denial. Um, and he told me, like, remember how you watched it. Your heart ached about things that were painful and twisted. And you felt such a joy when I could work through this, man. Like, don't you think if we feel the same and we think the same? And it was an amazing time of communion with you because I could share my thoughts with you. And you allowed yourself to think what I think. Why do you think that I was less present in it than in anything else? There is a place, and it can come with time, but it can happen actually without the journey, that God opens up our eyes to see. And we can be so strange or deceived as some would tell you, as to think and say what the Cherubians say, who stand next to the throne of God, that the glory of God is covering the earth. The glory of God covers the earth, like waters the sea. What a seemingly deceived thought it looks like. Like, don't you watch the news? No, he doesn't. He is aware of a much greater truth, the truth. And if we only become awakened to that truth, we would see His glory everywhere. We would see this whole other world, this new creation, what the Cherubians saw, what David experienced. Yes, the clapping trees and dancing mountains. That's the reality. And if we become aware of this presence and don't deny it, like, how would we react? How would we live? Sometimes we beat ourselves up because we didn't give enough time to, like, wait in silence for the Lord. And I'm for waiting for the Lord. But what if we experience Him in whatever comes? What if we didn't refuse His presence just because it doesn't show up in a way that we expected? I wish that all of our eyes, the eyes of all of us, would be open to the reality that His glory is covering the earth right now. You know, one day when we get to heaven, and we will be with the Lord forever, quote unquote, the shocking thing will be, the most shocking thing will be to discover that we have always been in heaven and that we have always been with Him. We just didn't see it. God bless you.